Golden age starts now. Yes, Donald Trump, the golden age starts now. The new era is starting for America. And what a great speech he made yesterday at his inauguration. And the amount of positivity, the positive messages he had in there was in stark contrast to listen to Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister of the UK, when he took over, and it was all doom and gloom and things are going to get worse. Not under Tony Blair, things are only going to get better. That song, things can only get better. This is like things can only get worse. And under Starmer, it's so miserable. It's talking the economy down. The chief executive of Barclays recently said, you've got to start talking the economy up, not down. And that's what Donald Trump has done. He's talked about making America great again, bringing back manufacturing, drill baby drill to get that cheap energy out of the ground, and start getting America moving again. And you know, some of the things he said were a little bit more concerning, like tariffs and that sort of thing. He talks about President McKinley, that was a tariff man, a tariff president, and he made America wealthy. But I think we're in a different world now, where the world is much more interconnected. And if you start slapping tariffs on, say, Mexico and his neighbours, Canada and China and Europe, then they might reciprocate with their own tariffs, and that would be bad for American exports. Will we get a trade deal in the UK? Let's talk about what this might mean for the UK, a Trump government. Well, I certainly think we've got more chance of a trade deal than we had under Joe Biden and, back of the queue Obama or back of the queue Biden. Biden really didn't care much for the UK, I think, and he wasn't going to give us a good trade deal ever. So I'm glad he's gone, and I'm glad some of his policies have gone as well. Trump, we've got more chance with, if the Labour government and their MPs can keep their mouths shut and stop insulting him and stop saying stupid things. And people like Sadiq Khan, the Labour mayor of London, calling his government a new age of fascism and this sort of thing. He said something like that. I don't know exactly what he said, okay, but he was talking about fascism in the same vein as Donald Trump. Which is crazy. He's a lunatic. He needs to go. It's an embarrassment for London. It's a great city of London, and we've got this idiot mayor that is always there when things, he wants to take credit for something, but never there when people are getting stabbed and robbed and getting their Rolexes stolen, and when things are going badly wrong in London, then he hides his little face behind, someone else, behind the police or whatever. So that sort of thing has got to stop. We've got to stop this anti-Trump rhetoric. And I think it was the Mayor Khan that approved those big balloons of Trump when he visited the UK when he was last president. That is such an embarrassment, and the Labour Party need to do something about him, and they need to do something about people like David Lammy, and some of the policies they're pursuing with China, and luckily, Trump has stopped this deal going through with the Chagos Islands that we talked about last week. He's put the brakes on it for the moment. We were going to give away the Chagos Islands to a country 1,300 miles away, that's Mauritius, and then spend $9 billion, £9 billion leasing it back so that we could keep the American air base there. That's crazy. Give away and lease. I've heard of sale and lease back, but not give away and lease back. So I hope we'll see a more positive America. I hope we'll see American growth. Now you might say, well, so what if America grows? How does that affect us? Well, it does affect us. It affects the whole world if American economy is strong, because they are buying a lot of our stuff as well, and they're trading with us. And I hope we do get a good trade deal if Labour Party can be brought to heel and start working towards good relationships with the Trump administration. I mean, sending wanting to send Peter Mandelson as the ambassador for Washington is a big mistake. I mean, it's a joke sending Mandelson there. Mandelson shouldn't even be in politics. He shouldn't be anywhere near it. This is the guy that lied on a mortgage application to buy his property. He said the deposit was coming from him, but it was actually coming from a Labour MP, a very wealthy man called Jeffrey Robertson as a loan. And it wasn't his own money, and it was a Britannia bill. If you look it up, Britannia Building Society, that is commonly known as mortgage fraud. A lot of people could get arrested for that or have the mortgage called in, but he got away with it. So he's a slippery character. I wouldn't trust him as far as I could sling him. So putting him forward as the ambassador is not a good idea. So they've got to start building good relations. But if America's economy is going well and we get some sort of trade deal with America, that would be great for Britain. Now, one thing that might put a stop to that is Keir Starmer's moves towards Europe. He's cozying up to all these European leaders. Donald Tusk, the Euro bureaucrat who's now Prime Minister of Poland, and Macron, and going around to all these European leaders, kissing their asses basically, and wanting now Donald Tusk talking about Britain coming back into the EU, or signing some sort of trade deal with them to gradually move us back into the EU, which would then stop us from having our own trade deals with countries like America. Part of this is they said when a lorry goes out to Europe, they have to fill in 300 pages of forms to satisfy European regulations. Well, I don't believe that's quite true. But if it is true, why are we not doing the same to the European trucks coming in? That would stop it then. Why do we have to enter into some new single market trade deal with Europe and get wheeled back into them, to their rules and their regulations and their dominance and their massive fees? Why do we have to do that when we could just say, right, if you're going to do this, play this game, we'll play the same game, and then put a stop to this bloody nonsense that Europe have imposed on Britain? I'm sorry, I'm not a great fan of the EU. I love Europe, I love France, I love the countries in Europe, but I'm not a great fan of the EU, as you can tell. And I don't think Donald Trump is either. So I hope that we will move towards a US trade deal rather than going back in towards Europe. But it's good news. I'm happy that Trump is there. I make no apologies for that. Yes, he's a bit eccentric. Yes, he's done some things, but I think he will be good for America and good for the world, good for the world economy. Hopefully he'll bring peace to the world and peace in Ukraine. I'm not sure how he's going to take back the Panama Canal. I don't know about that bit, or how he can just rename the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. Is that an official thing? Is that recognised everywhere in the world? I don't know, but he said he's going to do it. We'll see. But he certainly has created a sense of a buzz in America. The stock market was already up on the Donald Trump win, and I think the market had factored that in, that he would be coming in. So what's going to happen to the stock market this year? I don't know. A lot of people are still predicting that there'll be some sort of correction or even a crash in the year because of the massive debts there and the underlying factors that could affect the stock market. So I wouldn't go rushing into the market at the moment. I think it's a delicate time at the moment. I wouldn't go rushing into the US market just because Donald Trump's there. Let's wait and see how things go. That would be my opinion. What you do, you have to take your own advice. But it's certainly positive and if he gets manufacturing back to the UK, back to the US, that will be good for their economy, because we don't want a weak American economy. We don't want a weak American government. So that's all for now. If you want to know more about money, you want to learn more about money, you want to learn how to become financially free, check out my webinars, usually on a Wednesday night, 7 p.m. UK time, where I take you through 3 steps to financial freedom. I take you through the mindset of money, the management of money, and financial freedom itself. And I'll also start talking about how you need to, sort of things you need to do to get there, to become financially free. And one of my students asked me recently, a direct question: how did you become financially free? And I'll be talking about some of those things, how I did it, in my webinar on Wednesday at 7 p.m. Thanks very much for listening, and bye for now.